Guys, go see this movie because we're about to get into spoiler discussion right now, and I don't want to ruin it for you. If you're going into this movie trying not to be spoiled, first of all, that's hard to do in current year, but we're going to get into it right now. So first things first, we do get all 3 Spider-Men in this movie.
Yes, we do. And I'm so happy.
She is so happy.
Like, legit, I shook your leg when I saw Tobey Maguire.
When Andrew Garfield.
Well, I shook your arm, but then the Tobey Maguire one, I shook your leg.
Yeah. She got so excited that she was messing with me in the theater. And when
Green Goblin too, I was so happy for that.
And when Andrew Garfield appears on screen, the entire theater that we were in cheered.
Yeah.
Like we were you just watched Game 7 of the World Series and somebody just hit a walk-off home run. That's what this theater sounded like to me in there. I couldn't believe it. The best part about this was they could have easily done this with cameos. Or not easily. They could have screwed it up and they could have just been in this movie for like a couple of minutes at the very end, and that's not what we get here. We get full probably the last half of the movie or fourth of the movie. They're in there and they're in almost every scene, and they're in every scene.
Yeah, they're in every scene. It's like totally worth your money. Once
all 3 Spider-Men once they all show up on screen, they're on screen together almost the entire rest of the movie. And that is incredible. And the amount of detail that's paid to past lore from the films. For instance, they point out the fact that Tobey Maguire has real web shooters rather than
it comes out.
And they make a big deal about this where they have a whole conversation about it, and it works. They discuss it, and the 3 actors have fantastic chemistry together. Tobey, I personally believe that if this was Tom Holland's movie, Andrew Garfield earned his right to have either a third Amazing Spider-Man or a Disney Plus series. Well, it wouldn't be. I guess it couldn't be Disney Plus because it's Sony, right?
Yep.
So he earned his right to get another shot at playing Spider-Man just based off his performance in this movie. He looked like he was having the time of his life. He really did. Like Tobey Maguire Tobey Maguire felt like a father figure in that row because he's older. I mean, I don't know how much older he is even than Andrew Garfield. He can't be more than 5 or 6 years older than him. I could be wrong about that, but I really just the Andrew Garfield energy in this movie was freaking fantastic. And if you were paying attention to the build up to this movie, which has been absolutely insane, it's been at a fever pitch. He has been hamming it up in his assurances to the crowd that he wasn't in this movie, and he very clearly is a fantastic actor.
Okay, so Tobey Maguire is 46 years old, and Andrew Garfield is 38.
Tobey Maguire's 46.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm much younger than him, but I forget that the original Spider-Man came out in 2000. For some reason, I always think of the original Raimi Spider-Man as a 2005 movie, but I believe it was it? Check on that. Maybe I'm off by 5 years.
For what movie?
For Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
The original one is 2002.
Okay, I was close enough. I was in high school, so I was in high school when he was making that movie.
I was 3.
Oh my God, I do feel old. Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
We do get Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. You don't see him as Daredevil, but you do see him as
the actual lawyer.
As an actual lawyer who is fantastic at his job. I
love that one scene.
And catching bricks.
How did he do that? I'm just a really good lawyer.
A very good lawyer. Honestly, the opening scene to me immediately re-enamored me with the character, meaning like when he's when J. Jonah Jameson makes the announcement, when they reveal from Mysterio that that Peter Parker's been Spider-Man, and he's slinging between buildings, and he goes onto the Amtrak to the top of the thing, and everybody's staring at him, and he picks up MJ. They're like when they're having their banter back and forth as they're doing it, as Miracle sneezes like 9 times. She liked the movie so much, guys, that she is actually sneezing out her excitement right now.
Yeah.
Immediately that scene re-enamored me with both characters. MJ even more so than I was before, and Tom Holland probably more than I was before, because I've been meh on Spider-Man for the most part. Like, he's good, but he's always been surrounded by other actors of a higher caliber, and I feel like they did that in this film with Doctor Strange, having him be with Benedict Cumberbatch so early on in the movie. And he held his own in a way that I don't think he did in his past performances. He was in this movie sharing a good amount of screen time early on with Benedict Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange, and they go toe to toe. It doesn't feel like like Cumberbatch overshadows him in any way. I loved it. Miracle's just sick of listening, like hearing me talk about it. So I do have questions for you because I know that sometimes like when we talk about these things, I have this ability to like not read the room and I kind of just yell and scream and
it's okay.
Shout my excitement.
Everybody enjoys it, right?
What character do you think carried this movie?
Oh shit.
There's a lot. The only reason I waited to ask this question is because there's so many of them. You know,
I think they all carried it, but like I was so excited for Tobey Maguire, like how you pointed out that he's like the father figure, which he is. Like I just searched up his like personal information on Wikipedia. He has 2 kids.
Yeah.
He has 2 kids, so like it does like he does give off that father figure. And then like Andrew Garfield's like the older brother. He's like
he's definitely like but that's weird too though because he's only older brother by the fact that Tom Holland looks so much younger than him. But Andrew Garfield's character, like he hams up the whole the fact that a lot of people didn't like his version of the Spider-Man, and it works.
Yeah,
like it works. Like they rag, like not on purpose, but they they do it on purpose in the film. But like they talk about like there's the scene when they're on top of the Empire State Building at the end, and all 3 Spider-Men are trying to organize like how they're going to attack.
They didn't do the pointing.
They
kind of did.
They didn't do the Spider-Man meme. That actually shows a decent amount of restraint on their part. Like I'm surprised they didn't do it. But when they name him, Tom Holland says, "I'm Spider-Man. I'm Peter Parker 1." And he points at Tobey Maguire and says, "You're Peter Parker 2." And then Andrew Garfield goes, I'm
3.
He goes, "I'm 3." Like he hams up the fact that he is like the odd man out who didn't get his trilogy.
Yeah.
I love it. Like
But yeah, it is true. But like speaking about age, Tom Holland's 25. So that does make sense. Like their whole dynamic.
Yeah. How old is Andrew Garfield? Does it say there?
Yeah, I told you 38.
Andrew Garfield. He's 38.
He's 38, and Tom is 25,
Good
and then
genes.
Toby
is 46.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And then James Franco, just to throw it out there, he's 43.
Oh man. Well, that's funny too because I shouldn't be as surprised by Andrew Garfield because he was like Spider-Man when I was like well out of high school, but me and him are like 3 years apart. Yeah. But it feels like he's younger than me.
It kind of does, right?
It feels like he's younger than me. So.
You'd be breaking your bones.
I would be. The other I had a bunch of questions like that I wanted to ask you about. The other one was whose performance surprised you the most?
Andrew Garfield's.
Absolutely.
And then Zendaya's also. Because I thought they're going to write her character where she's like really snobby. No, I actually like her character.
It fits with the story. Like snobby makes sense if it's the start of the first movie and you're establishing this world. But right now, bad things have happened to them. Serious things are going on. Their life is changing. Your snobbishness is going to dissipate in favor of honest human interaction. And the snark is always one of those things that I'm highly critical of. I hate snark for snark's sake in movies, and they really did avoid that in this movie.
Well, like for me, I also like what she kept on saying because like you don't really get a lot of background story about Zendaya's character MJ. Yeah. Where like she's like, well, if you expect like the worst to happen, then you won't be let down. Yeah, basically.
But she's different at the end.
Yeah, she is.
So she that's fantastic writing. That's a through line that they keep from the movie. So in the movie, they all apply to their various colleges, and because of what happens with Spider-Man being outed as Peter Parker,
and he also murdered Mysterio because that's how Mysterio edited the clips.
And then, so when they don't get into MIT, which is where all 3, her, Ned, and Peter all apply there, none of them get in, she makes a point before they open their letter. She says, if you expect disappointment, you're never disappointed, right? Or something to that effect.
Exactly to that fact.
I will point out one small, it's not even a plot hole per se, but there is a character in there who works for MIT. What was that? The actress
Paula something.
I believe her name's Paula Newsome in real life, but I could be wrong about that.
It is.
But is it?
I searched it up earlier.
That was her
Paula
name.
Newsome.
My God, my memory is fantastic. I'm like looking for it here, but I like she's what I call like a journeyman TV actress. She's fantastic. She's always on various TV shows. So she has this bit part role in this movie where she plays like Peter before his first go around with Doc Ock saves her from falling off a bridge. Yeah. And she says, "I'm going to talk to MIT about you and your Ned." Friends. Yeah. They couldn't. I guess it's not really a plot hole. They couldn't really continue it because at the end of the movie, they have to complete this spell. Yeah. The spell was that they screwed up in the beginning of the movie. That's from the trailers. That basically Peter screws up this spell that Doctor Strange is trying to cast.
He screws it up. So according to Strange, 6 times, but Peter's like technically 5.
Yes. But then they finally have to complete the spell at the end, which is that basically everyone forgets who Peter Parker is. Yep. Which is vaguely different because in the beginning he didn't want them to forget him. He wanted them to forget that he was Spider-Man, which is not the same thing.
Yeah, so he reworded it at the end. He was like,
I wonder if that was a plot hole.
I think so.
I mean, not a plot hole, but you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't it, like...
It's not consistent. That's what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, like, if he had actually phrased it like that in the initial spell, it would have made more sense. Because when he's saying that, when he's trying to correct Doctor Strange, I'm like, why can't you just tell them you're Spider-Man after they forget? Yeah. If they still know who you are, why can't you just reveal it to them again?
Well, in the trailers, they also say it too, like, I want everybody to forget I'm Spider-Man.
Okay, I'm worried. Did I hear that differently in the movie? They did say Spider-Man, right? They didn't say forget who you are.
Nope. In the beginning, they said, I want everybody to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Okay. And that's what they said in the trailers too. But then at the end, he says, I want everybody to forget I'm Peter Parker. Okay. Forget who Peter Parker is.
Okay. That's a little bit of
that's like a big stretch.
Those are 2 very different things. Yeah. Like forgetting that you're Spider-Man and forgetting who you are entirely. Like now I'm worried that I missed something. I don't think I did.
Miss it.
But that character just never comes back again. So it was like a weird, like, it's like, you know, it was supposed to, you feel like to complete that go around with that story.
Yeah, maybe
it's like, you know what I mean?
My question is because she said that she was going to put in a word for them.
It's like Chekhov's gun, but without Chekhov.
Yeah, so she was going to put in a word for them to reconsider their applications. So did he get reconsidered? If they forgot who he was?
Exactly. Like, because in the end, Zendaya or MJ and Ned both get in. Right?
But Peter Parker didn't say he got in or not.
Yeah. Well, he had that book in his room that said GED study manual. So he likely had to go back to school or something. I don't know. But that's... so the consequences for this movie... Like, one thing I have a problem with in superhero movies is that there's always an extreme lack of stakes. There's a lack of like any real consequences if something goes wrong. Yeah. Right. So in this movie, there is a little bit of that. Like you don't feel like he's really in danger at all, but they get around that because we do see the death of a very, very important character.
Aunt May.
Hot Aunt May.
Oh no.
Oh no. And I'll tell you what. This is another way that this is why I say that the media is not Hollywood's friends. In this movie. They use Aunt May's character of being an extremely good person who basically they were just going to send, once the villains make it through into the multiverse, into Peter's world because of the messed up spell, he captures them and then they were going to send them back where they were, but what they find out is that they're going to be sent back because they eventually die in their own universes, and Peter has a problem with that. Yeah. This is a quality he gets from Aunt May. Yeah. You could say that he's still stupid for not sending them back because this is a problem he created. Yeah. But if they had, eventually what I'm getting to do is like Aunt May gets hurt, gets grievously injured, and gives Peter the speech. Yep. She gives him the speech. Both of us groan at it. And I'll tell you what, I didn't hate it, but if they had announced before this movie came out that she was going to be the one to give him that speech rather than Uncle Ben, I'd have been pissed. Yeah. Because it would have felt like virtue signaling stupidity, just to rub it in that they're doing it with the future is female. But because they didn't do it, it comes off understated and it comes off as reasonably believable within the realm of this universe, and it adds to the stakes of the movie because she hides her injury. Yeah, and I'll tell you that scene right there when I was talking about earlier, when Peter Parker is looking at his Aunt May. He looks about 20 years older than he actually is. Yeah. He really does. And there is grief and sadness on his face that felt absolutely real to me in a way that not even Tobey Maguire's really did for me when I saw those movies the first time. So that is a huge testament to Tom Holland.
Yeah,
it really is. Sure. Happy was in this movie, and even he had a through line all the way through. You know, he gets they don't really explain it because he gets arrested, and then he gets out, and then he meets Peter at Aunt May's grave, right? But I'll tell you right now, there could have been so many points in this movie where the humor could have ruined it, and it didn't. They saved a lot of it for the interactions in the down moments. Basically, once all three Spider-Men are together, right, and we get to see them being scientists, which is a big thing. That scene was probably my favorite of all of them together, but the science is almost... there's no actual science going on. It's just them riffing and interacting, and you're reenacting all the Star Wars, all of the Spider-Man lore that has been created through these franchises. And they don't put on, and a lot of it is like they don't have their masks on through most of it because you have to be able to. They're like, we paid however many millions of dollars to get Andrew Garfield. By God, we're not just going to put him behind a mask and freaking... So they don't like leave them in their masks the whole time, which could have felt off, but it works here, right? Yep. So you don't get it until they really go into battle at the end.
Yep.
And I really do think that for the most part, this is going to spur on a really, really successful future for Tom Holland in this role. And I don't see it like... He had an interview a while back where he said, if I'm playing Spider-Man in 10 years, I've done something wrong. I don't know if I buy that from him. I think he loves playing this character. I do. Like, I think he knows how important it is, and I think that he embraces it in a way that I don't think he'd be able to give it up that easily. I think he'll do those 3 movies, and I think he'd be willing to do more.
I think so, because, like, this is, like, a big... this is like a lot of money for him.
Well, I don't know if necessarily. I mean, he's very successful. I don't know if the money really matters to him in this respect. I mean, money always matters.
It always matters. If you think about money, then like this is like a ticket for him to be set for life. Yeah, well, but if
he's already set for life, my friend.
I know, but like, but then if he actually likes this character, then I think he should just stay with it, because like I know Chris Hemsworth loves playing as Thor.
Loves playing Thor.
Yeah.
And okay, so here's another question. Does this make you more excited for more of his performances? And here's the other question. Would you rather see him in 3 more solo movies, or do you like the idea of him being more of Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, and occurring in other films on a regular basis?
I like both ideas, because like if he reoccurs in other films, it's like cute little Easter eggs. But if he does it in his own solo movie, that's like such a great thing, because like we already know that he can do it by himself. But then he has like heavy hitters like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Jamie Foxx.
Do you think they bring back Maguire and Garfield?
I don't know. It would be cool because we did watch the trailer for Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing a second movie for that. So maybe they might tie it in somehow.
I don't think you need to do Maguire anymore.
Oh yeah, he's a little bit old now.
I think that he's done his... I don't think he needs to. And oddly enough, Garfield doesn't need to because he's very successful as an actor right now. But I think that there's easily a way that I could see a Andrew Garfield... getting this, how good he did in this role as his version of Spider-Man. I could see this spinning off into a chance at a 3rd film for him in a way that would have never been possible in the past. Or if not, a TV show.
Okay, so you know how we were talking about earlier that they didn't do the meme, the Spider-Man pointing meme?
Well, they did it like when they're in the...
Well, it says right here. So I'm reading an article from GamesRadar.com that's basically talking about Spider-Man No Way Home Easter eggs, because I was curious about like a certain scene from the movie.
Okay.
But they're talking about the Spider-Man pointing meme, and they said this is not quite as a nose as Into the Spider-Verse. It takes place in an iconic meme taken from the 1960s Spider-Man series, saw in the imitation Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Pointing at the real one. But putting together, basically, when they were fixing, like how we're talking about, like how they're doing team ups, like it was a cute little nod too, where Tom Holland's like, yeah, I used to work in a team. We worked in the Avengers. I thought this was so funny. They're like, that's so cool. What's the Avengers?
is that like a band or something?
Yeah, I love that part.
That was very clever. Like the fact that they have no Avengers in their timeline. That's very interesting. The villains. We haven't even gotten into the freaking villains yet.
Come on.
So not only do you get Sandman, who, in my opinion, had the least to do in this role.
Oh, there's a plot hole with him. We were talking about it on the way home.
So go ahead. Sandman. Basically, he like gets into this universe, and
he's like good, but then he turns bad. But there's no reasoning for it.
He basically makes the point that he says, "I don't trust anyone," but he's never like adversarial to Parker. But then randomly after, should we reveal the rest? Yeah, let's
just do it because we already did it.
So first of all, we get Sandman, we get Electro, we get Doc Ock,
Lizard,
and we get
Venom, but he's
and we get
the Green Goblin.
The Green Goblin.
Sorry,
who is the real? If there's a villain in this movie, it's the Green Goblin.
Yeah, because the split personality, which is like throws off people, and I thought it was really cute where they talked. Not cute. I thought it was really really good because like in the first Spider-Man movie they kind of talked about it, and then the second Spider-Man movie where both characters die, so James Franco and then William Dafoe, they both died. Because like the reason,
and he mentions it in this that his son has since passed.
But I love it how, like, in the movie, so this is, like, one of the spoilers, all the villains find out that they were sent to Tom Holland's universe, and they were supposed to die, because something happened, they were in the middle of fighting Spider-Man, and then everything went blank, and they showed up in this universe.
And that's their fate to die. Basically, Doctor Strange points out that this, it's their fate, and it's not, you don't have the right to, the consequences of the multiverse outweigh your problems with trying to intervene in these people's fate. And one distinction that's made but not really addressed is that they're not killed by Spider-Man. They die fighting Spider-Man, which is not technically the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you know how like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he has a kinder heart than the other two. So like the first Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, he was more like before even being infected with Venom, like he was more violent. And then Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, this is why a lot of people didn't like his, because he's more arrogant
and cruel. And people thought of him as cruel more than
so he's more cruel and arrogant. So those two are different from Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which he still has that young, innocent, naive feeling where he's like, I can save everybody. But when he realized he can't because Aunt May died,
which is where she gives the speech. Which I'm saying, it fit there because he's in the middle of doing something where he now feels like he made a mistake, right? Because all this whole building has been taken down, and she reminds him and says, with great power, blah blah blah. We know the speech, but to me, that's perfect writing right there. That was perfect writing to give those lines to her, and that could have been done very poorly.
It could have. They could have just threw it away as a throwaway line. But
that would have been awful. That would have been like the moments that needed to be serious were serious, and that I imagine that line now. I said this to you in the theater. I said, "Can you imagine having to deliver that line now without laughing? Like if you're an actor, like there's like a fake building around you, everything. There's like fake smoke and like it looks like a bomb's gone off, and then you have to deliver this line that has now become it's such a big part of the cultural zeitgeist that it's almost impossible to say without laughing by knowing the fact that you're saying it in a scene that's supposed to be serious.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I don't know, like I just love that scene so much. Like even though both Brett and I groaned at it because like, bruh, really?
I'm just more sad that Aunt May is gone.
Yeah, he kept on saying hot
Aunt May is gone.
Yeah. So it's like, ew.
It's very sad.
Get away from me.
It's very sad.
But
Doc Ock. So the plot hole is that Sandman is good, is neutral, and then
turns evil,
and then randomly turns evil for no reason.
I think the reason why he turned evil is because, like, you know how the Green Goblin, his split personality. So when he turns into the Green Goblin, he has a whole like motif saying like, we're gods.
Gods don't need to ask permission.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gods don't need help. We don't need permission. We take what we want. Yep. And because like Jamie Foxx's character Electro,
his seemed to have the most consistent through line, right? He liked the power that he was feeling here, and he wanted to stay.
Yeah. So Electro, it makes sense right there because like you can see it in his eyes. He's like, "You're right," and he rips off the device that Peter Parker, Tom Holland's.
Fantastically timed with the beeps. Basically, think of it as like
a timer.
A timer that's going. It's like there's like green symbols, or it's just a green light.
Green loading lights, like when you charge your battery.
And he rips it off right before the last one.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Like that made sense, but then like for Sandman, he was like staring too, but there was no context for him.
And it's a bit of a bait and switch with Doc Ock and the Green Goblin, because you think that Doc Ock is going to be the bad guy because he's being Doc Ock because of the broken chip, and then Goblin is in is just
because like Goblin. So the reason why like people think that the Green Goblin was going to be good because in the first scene, legit like he snaps out of it and like he becomes normal.
Yeah.
What's his character's name? Not Green Goblin, but the
Norman Osborn.
So basically he's like an innocent old man and he wants to help, but then he
William
snaps.
Dafoe plays that perfectly, both sides of it. Like I used to scoff.
I miss that.
I used to scoff at the idea of him playing the Joker, but I think he could play the Joker.
He could.
An older Joker. Like he really could. Like there's that scene at the end when Parker and him are battling on the Statue of Liberty, or the sunken part of the Statue of Liberty, and the way he delivers that line is just dead on for a comic book villain. Just dead on. We get Wong, and Doctor Strange is not nerfed. I was kind of annoyed at the scene where Doctor Strange gets thrown into the mirror universe.
Yeah.
And then Parker just figures it out through math. But then he comes back at an important juncture at the end, so his character is not lessened in any way.
Yeah.
He still feels like big and important. Even Ned gets to. Ned gets
to do the wheel.
He's the comic relief, and he's used beautifully. It's not overbearing or over the top.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it at periods where it doesn't feel necessary. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Like for me, I was really happy with it. And then like one of the post credit scenes, like Tom Hardy
does appear.
He does appear, but he disappears. So the reason why he disappears, like how Brett and I were talking about, when Peter Parker asks Doctor Strange, I want everybody to forget who Peter Parker is. And basically what happened was Venom is there. Brock and Venom are there. And when Brock is barely writing down all the information he got from the bartender, he disappears.
Yeah.
He disappears. So does that mean he knows? Because like we're talking about it in the car, like he.
From what I read, that he knows because of hive mind.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Because there
symbiotes have hive mind, which means that he would know. Yeah.
Yeah, because like in the end credit scene when he disappears, one of Venom's like droplets drops.
Yeah.
And we're having a theory like which symbiote is that gonna be?
How funny would it be if Topher Grace comes into that bar and they make him Venom again?
Yeah, it would be funny.
Who would you cast as Venom if you could cast somebody as Venom?
I really like Tom Hardy's.
Like Tom Hardy?
Because it's really like true to like Brock and Venom's like relationship in the comics, like how I was telling you the other day, where like they do fall in love with each other. Yeah. And I kind of see that as like mom and dad fighting. Yep. So I kind of like it already.
They got to keep Tom Hardy.
They have to.
You have an actor of that caliber who's, one of the things I always harp on is that these studios love to use these properties for their name recognition. And the same goes with actors in a lot of ways. As much as people pretend like there's not movie stars anymore, Tom Hardy's name still draws eyeballs.
Yep.
So him as that character is becoming iconic, and Sony has a really bright future with their films, I believe. Because remember, this is still just as much of a Sony property as it is, like most of the profits to this movie are going to Sony, not to Marvel. So
for sure.
It's really interesting to me because they've interconnected these worlds in a way that really feels like it shouldn't work in a lot of ways. Like to me, when I see a lot of these scenes, I think of it as, what can we put here? And they always find a way to do it in a fashion that if it doesn't make complete sense, the Easter egg nature of a lot of it, it overrides the emotional part of your brain. So you're like, I don't care if it doesn't make total sense. It's fine. It's perfect.
I don't know. I really don't know because like I really want him to come back, and I was disappointed that they disappeared him.
I think we'll get him back. I think they get him back. I mean, I know that Sony has their own plans. I know Morbius is going to be...
Morbius is really good, like that trailer.
I'm far more excited about Morbius than I ever thought I would be. I really do think that William Dafoe and Alfred Molina were... I don't know how much it cost to get them to come back and reprise these roles. I know there was a lot of de-aging on Alfred Molina, as far as I know. I don't know how much there was. Dafoe looked his age, right?
Yeah.
But like it was fantastic. And they felt like as much of a threat as Osborn felt, like it didn't feel out of place with the fact that he wasn't part of this Spider-Man's universe before, right? Like it could have very easily been like, why is he why do I care? Why would Norman Osborn from this world care about fighting this Peter Parker when they're not the same Peter Parker that he fought in his universe?
Exactly.
But they tie it in to his mom, or to Aunt May, not to his mom, to Aunt May. And
might as well be his mom, his hot older mom,
his very hot older mom. But he comes into contact with Peter's aunt, and that creates the through line in the story that makes it work. Otherwise, I would have been like, why is he so hell-bent on destroying this guy? But it's the dark side of Osborn, the Goblin side, that really makes it work there, and that performance carries it. And like I said, all of these performances are secondary to just how good Tom Holland was carrying this movie alongside big name actors, a lot of member berries that are very easy to get bogged down in.
This?
Exactly. So throughout this whole performance, he looks like the world is happening to him all at once.
I don't know, like I'm just really excited, but I do like the theory that like Tom Hardy will remember Peter Parker. So we were talking about it in the car. Like, do you think like Tom Hardy's like Venom universe like has their own version of Peter Parker?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And like since one of the symbiotes was left behind, which symbiote is it going to be? That's because we already had Carnage. We Screech wasn't Shriek, my bad.
So you think it's going to be what, Toxin?
Well, that's what Chris said.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be Toxin because I just did I did like a little searching. I did research on it. It's not going to be him because you need to do the other ones. So there's going to be Scream, Lasher, Agony, Riot, and then Phage.
So eventually we'll get our own Venom No Way Home, Venom Endgame someday.
Well, like most of them are his kids. So like Lasher is actually a hybrid.
Okay.
So is this going to be like they're going to make hybrid symbiotes? Because the hybrid symbiotes are basically, there's 4 of them. And they were taken because like Venom was locked into a facility. I forgot what the facility was called, but they took like parts of Venom and infused it with other things to get like stronger symbiotes.
I see about 3 movies that they can get out of all of that. So maybe the goal is that Tom Hardy ends up kind of not stepping down, but it builds into a universe of Venoms, of symbiotes that is so large that they don't need to rely on Tom Hardy to do that, right? J. Jonah Jameson. J.K. Simmons just hamming it up in this. There was one thing I didn't understand. It might have been an Easter egg that I didn't get. Why was it that the first time he reports on Spider-Man in the movie, like when they first reveal his ID, it looks like he's in a basement? Is that because he gets like his job back or something?
Maybe.
Okay. Like there's basically when he reveals Spider-Man's identity, it feels like he's recording in his basement for a podcast, and then later on, when he's still reporting on it, he's reporting from a major studio. That's where my brain goes. My ADHD brain's like, why is this different? Because I just didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I'm kind of excited because if they do introduce like new symbiotes, like they have so many. There's like a whole family of them. There's maybe they might do a female one. No, because there's like a couple. I have
no doubt that they will do that.
They have a couple of them. They didn't do Scream yet or Agony.
Okay.
Or I'm pronouncing it wrong. My bad.
Should we be talking about the second post-credit scene?
Yes, because people have been talking about it, and I did talk about this theory too. Also, another Venom movie that could be an idea is Anti-Venom. That would be good. But
You're the Venom expert here. I'm not the Venom expert.
It's because I really like the idea because like they are like different species and they do like pull apart because like in Venom Let There Be Carnage, basically how Carnage became is because Cassidy basically bit Eddie Brock's hand and it's infused with his blood and the symbiote DNA.
So basically, he's a walking hazmat situation everywhere he goes.
Exactly.
Like, there any scene where Eddie Brock is like bleeding, you're like, you shouldn't be doing that outside, my friend. You're going to get a lot of people killed. Second post-credit scene.
Second post-credit scene,
which we didn't get to see in theater because we had to leave and come back to record this.
Yes.
But go through. Basically, we see Doctor Strange and we see him. It's basically a mini trailer from what I saw.
It looks like a mini trailer. Basically, he's walking in what's the building that's called?
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah, so he's walking in there, and it's still like snowy in there because of the whole. They explain it in this movie why it's snowy. It's because there's a portal that was open to Siberia, and it like blew snow in.
Did you notice that the thing from Wong was different from the trailer?
Yeah.
When he says when he's talking about helping him.
Yeah, he said.
Just leave me out of it.
Yeah, in the movie he says leave me out of it, but in the trailer he said don't do it, Strange.
And there's like a wink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they revealed that Wong is technically Sorcerer Supreme because of the blip.
Yeah, the blip made Doctor Strange disappear for 5 years, so he lost it to Wong because of technicality.
Off topic for a moment, but you notice how like pumped like. We talked to Tim about like the scene from Hawkeye yesterday, where the blip they show Yelena disappear from the blip and how he actually like. I thought I was the only one who actually really liked that scene because it was so well. Like the CGI was so well done. Felt like they blew half their budget on that.
Exactly.
But yes, the show more of the side effects or the repercussions of the blip in the future. So
So, but that just means that Doctor Strange is 5 years younger than Wong.
Does it?
When Wong dies, you have Doctor Strange.
Well, he'll take over.
Yeah.
So Doctor Strange. So then, what else happened in that scene? Because you got a better look at it than me.
So basically, Doctor Strange, he's like walking around, and then he walks into this like weird field, and then there's a lady. She has red hair.
I wonder what her name is.
And she's like cutting a cherry blossom tree or kind of tree that has flowers, and she turns around, and he says, "Wanda," and she's like, "Hi, Strange. I messed up." And
people were mad, not to get into drama, but people were mad because originally Doctor Strange was going to show up in WandaVision at the end and help her fix the mess that she made. And they quote, they picked there were stupid reasons for them not doing it. It's not important, but they avoided it. And then, so I feel like this was them like coming back around and realizing that you do still need Doctor Strange to help.
Yeah. But it's so funny because she's like, Strange, I messed up. And then it cuts to a different scene. And the very end part of the post-credit scene with Doctor Strange, there's another Doctor Strange. And this is where a lot of people have fan theories about it because if you're not familiar with Marvel What If series, I really want Brett to watch it. I haven't watched
What If.
I haven't watched it, but I watched like reviews on it, so I know what happens. I forgot which number episode it is, but it's Doctor Strange. But this what if scenario is, instead of him losing his ability to like do surgery, like because you remember the car accident, no, he's in the car with his fiance, and he gets distracted. His fiance dies, and he couldn't get over that fact. And
turns him evil.
No. The Ancient One, basically, she was like, you have to get over this because like. Basically circle of life, like it was her time to die, and he's like, no, I can't get over it. And she's like, fine, if you're gonna be a baby about it, I'm gonna split your soul into two. So basically his soul split into two, so one soul actually moved on from it. Like he was like, okay, I can move on from this, I can live a better life because that's what she wanted me to do. But then the second one, he didn't, and he tried to summon her back, but he summoned a bunch of unearthly creatures, which brings in Shang-Chi. Like, you remember the octopus creature? What was the name of it?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember it because it was that bad.
I memory hold that movie pretty hard. I liked it better than Eternals, but I've like not that's a problem with that I have with a lot of Marvel movies is that they tend to lack. They don't have a lot of long-term impact on me. I don't remember them long after I see them. Yeah.
So basically, the octopus creature from Shang-Chi is also the character that Doctor Strange and What If summons, but he absorbs the essence. And people are having theories about this Doctor Strange in the post-credit scene because the evil Doctor Strange, his name is it's Mephisto.
Mephisto?
Yep. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. I couldn't pronounce it. But that's Doctor Strange's evil self.
Yeah.
That's
so they thought he was going to appear in WandaVision. They thought Mephisto was going to be in WandaVision.
No. They thought that he was going to be in this movie.
But I'm saying they also thought Mephisto was going to appear in WandaVision because of So
yeah, but they thought he was going to appear in this movie because, like, you know how Doctor Strange in the first scene, like, he's wearing a sweater. So they're like, he's wearing a sweater. That's not the usual attire that Doctor Strange wears. But then, like, later he changed into the regular Doctor Strange.
Did you see the goatee from the movie? Did you see the goatee dye?
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah. So you think, are you more excited for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or are you more excited for Morbius?
I am excited for both of them because, you know, I like occult stuff.
Yep, you're a very big fan of I just started, after our conversation yesterday, I started rewatching Grimm.
Yep.
So
I got him into it.
No.
Again.
I was already a fan of Grimm. Do you want to, like, I'm looking at some of these critic reviews for No Way Home, and I'm actually surprised. I'm guessing that the tomatoes on these seem to signal that they're rotten, but the movie's got almost 94% on tomatoes.
Are you sure it's rotten?
Some of these are just oh, never mind. Okay, those are well, let's see. I just want to go through some of them because there's one right here at the bottom. Here's the short version. It's fine.
Oh.
There was one at the top here I thought was interesting that I actually do agree with, and it says, it's called Spider-Man No Way Home, but a better title for this exhausting sequel would be Spider-Man for super fans only. I would agree. I would honestly agree with that. I would not. It doesn't have to be seen. You don't have to be a super fan to necessarily enjoy it. Yeah. But the excitement that we have is because we are familiar with those past. And I wouldn't even call myself. I'm not a Spider-Man super fan, but I understand.
But you grew up with it.
But I understand the importance of giving the people what they want.
Yeah.
And they give the people what they want in this movie.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention it. So everybody was like screaming about this. Like, you know how the Spider-Mans, they all have their own signature pose. Everybody was screaming about it because they all did their own signature pose. Yep. Tobey Maguire did the squat where he has two hands in the front. Tom Holland does the sideways thing. Yep. And then Andrew Garfield's, what's his?
I don't even know. I only remember Tobey Maguire's is the only one I'm really like that. I always remember because that one's so iconic.
Yeah, like, because he's always like crouching like that.
You see the Holland one a lot now because of the there's a trailer every couple of months.
But I don't remember the Garfield one. Maybe I'm going to search it up.
I don't know. Maybe his is the hanging upside down.
No. That's not what they did when they did the pose for 3. But everybody was screaming because the fight scenes with all 3 of them is like the best thing ever.
The crowd went nuts. The crowd, the people in the theater where we were at went nuts when they finally went and battled all of them. And in the end, I think that this proves the importance of as important as it is to make a good movie on its own, you can do fan service well, and I think this movie is a great example of that. This movie isn't by no means a perfect movie, but I do think that it's far above average for a superhero movie.
Yeah, for sure.
This far outstripes any of the Marvel releases this year by leaps and bounds. This is miles better than Shang-Chi. It's 10 miles better than Eternals, and it's miles better than Black Widow.
For sure. I don't know. I just love this. Oh, his pose is basically he's like bending over, but he has no. That's Tom Holland.
I was like, what? That's the Tom Holland one.
Never mind. JK. I'll find it if it kills me.
So it says Spider-Man. So here's some more of them. It says the MCU is a high floor, low ceiling enterprise, and No Way Home is slightly closer to the ceiling than the floor, exactly like all other Spider-Man movies. So it feels like it's like putting like the average or below, or like the less enthusiastic reviews up top here. But that should just speak to you why like. Or maybe this could be confirmation bias on my part because I like it so much.
Yeah.
But to me, I think this is a movie that's absolutely worth going and seeing, guys. So
for sure, I love it so much.
Here's some more. So it says phenomenal. The story works. The villains have never been better, and with actual motivation that you feel. It gets heavy at times, and the ending and mid-credit scene are perfect. No spoilers. Go see it. Top 10 movie is ever made. Okay, that's That's a bit excessive. Best movie since Endgame. I would agree with that. Best Marvel movie since Endgame. Really, really good. If you enjoy Marvel films, get ready and buckle up. This one is wild and sets up for such an amazing feeling of more movies. Yep. So exactly what you want out of a Spider-Man movie. So
exactly. Yeah. And also there was like a scene, like I don't know if you pay attention to this part, but like you know how Peter Parker like rents out his own apartment, like he gets his own apartment after Aunt May dies.
Yes.
And like Happy Hogan's apartment duplex gets destroyed. He gets his own apartment, but did you notice the scene where he puts down a Palpatine?
I didn't see. I must not have noticed the mug.
No, it's a little Lego figure.
Oh, because he was building. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so he's like building his whole room, and I found out. I was like really curious about it. I was like, "What's the connection to this?" But it's a little Easter egg for people who actually like pay attention to Peter Parker lore. He's a Star Wars fan.
Yep.
I thought it was
wasn't the Lego set that was in Happy's place a Star Wars Lego set?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it didn't show Palpatine. But I think that was the Death Star Lego set.
Yeah, like he built it, and that's when I don't remember. It wasn't. Was it Sandman that's like, are those your Legos?
Yeah. No.
Or was it Jamie Foxx?
It was Jamie Foxx.
It was Electro. It was like, are those your Legos?
Yeah. But the reason why he had it is to help make his so basically he had it to make his apartment look better. But in the previous scene, basically he had the Death Star Lego set because he built it with Ned.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of cute. Like the Easter eggs are really cool. Like they have Easter eggs.
There's a lot of care put into the way these scenes are set up and the detail that goes into the. It's like we were talking the other day with the Easter egg or what we feel is an Easter egg in the Batman trailer.
Yeah.
Of the joke of the Killing Joke face in that picture of Bruce on the. That's just most likely if you're watching that in the context of that scene, it's just a little flash of light as a character walks by a bunch of pictures on the wall. It won't be on screen for more than a couple of seconds, but hours worth of work go into making something like that real.
Yeah.
Like that means that somebody either writing a script or not just the dialogue, but the people who write out these scenes and build these sets, it'll be on screen for less than 10 seconds, but hours of time and coordination between workers and employees go together to make that come to reality on screen, all for fan service, and I love it.
For sure. Because like especially like certain scenes are like pulled from comic books and like the video games. I forgot that Spider-Man had video games too.
I never played any of the video games. I know a lot of people love the new one or loved 4 or the one from PS4.
Yeah, that's where they got it from. Like most of their scenes, but also you remember that joke where like Tobey Maguire, he's like bending his back on the bar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I have back problems.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield's like, do you want me to pop it for you? He's like, yes. Like, it's basically poking fun at him that he's old.
Yep. I love it.
I love that. Like, it's cute. Like, this movie is very self-aware.
Yep. But in a way that doesn't feel ham-fisted or fourth. Like, I guess it kind of is the fourth wall, but like, it's winking at the camera. It's not breaking the fourth wall, but it's winking at the camera because they know that you know all of these references.
Yeah.
Right. So, I don't know, man. Final thoughts on Spider-Man: No Way Home?
Well, they also talked about the Captain America shield on Statue of Liberty.
On the Statue of Liberty.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, go for it. What do they say?
Well, okay, so same article that I'm reading. You may have noticed the Statue of Liberty is going under something of a makeover. Yep. So basically, she's going to have the whole shield instead of the torch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
but then at the end,
it didn't stay.
They have it's back to the.
The shield was also indirectly referenced in the Hawkeye series too.
Yes. So they did. I don't know if they showed it, but they mentioned it.
They mentioned it because like basically the musical in Hawkeye, like the first episode when he's watching that musical, they talk about it.
That musical, man.
That musical number that was stupid. I just love this movie. I recommend like everybody watching it. And also if you're a Green Goblin fan, he does go back to his like colors that he had in the comic books. Yep. So his signature color is purple and green, not just plain green. You
see when he's in his regular clothing. Like another reason why people might think he'd be a great Joker because he's wearing purple and green. I don't know, man. I think everyone should go see it. Go see it for Tom Holland's performance. Go see it for the fact that both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield seemed to love to be in this movie. It didn't feel like they were cashing. It didn't feel like they were cashing a paycheck.
Yeah, and you can find like cute little hidden Easter eggs, like the mural that they had, the high school that he went to. They have Tony Stark's dad in it.
Yeah.
Howard Stark.
Yeah.
You can see it. So that's a cute little Easter egg if you like Iron Man too.
The hardest part about doing this is like now I'm thinking like what are we like we're totally forgetting something. We'll come back and like
we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Well, yeah, like if something else comes to us, we'll talk about it on the show tomorrow, but I hate that part where I'm thinking I'm like there's so much my brain like doesn't process the best when I'm doing stuff like this. So I'm like I think I said everything that I was thinking about. I love the ending. I think that it was both emotionally, it wasn't emotionally manipulative. It was just right in the right place. When he has this scene, basically at the end, he has to accept that Zendaya, that MJ and Ned no longer know who he was. And he has a fantastic conversation with Zendaya, I always call her Zendaya, with MJ, that he does more good acting with his face when she's speaking than the average actor would be able to do on any given day with an entire performance. There's some fantastic nonverbal acting there.
Yeah, it's so cute because like people in the audience that was with us, they were like, "Just tell her," and he doesn't tell her. Like he has.
You want him to, but he doesn't. That's the power of that scene.
Yeah, like basically he had a whole script written out, and he was like reciting it before going to that coffee shop. Is it a coffee shop or a donut shop?
It was both, probably. Okay,
but yeah, he's like reciting what he wants to say, and then when he comes up, like she waves hi. You think she recognizes him?
Yep, but it's
and
Ned.
then the Band-Aid also,
and that's what I think that's what stops. If that's what that's supposed to be, that stops him from telling her because he feels like she's safer by not knowing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but it's funny because like you think she's waving to him, but it's actually Ned behind him, and then she was like, "Hey," and like Ned goes sit in his usual spot. You'll see it in the movie where like he has his spot. That's where they always hang out when she's working, but she was like, "How may I help you?" And he was like, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker." And he was about to say it, but then he stops it because how you pointed out the Band-Aid. And he's like, "Can I have a black coffee?" And she's like, "Okay, Peter Parker, 1 black coffee coming up." And then she grabs like a donut for Ned, and she's like, "Look, MIT something. What's
the
that?
engineers? I think
the engineers because the mascots." And he didn't understand it, and she was like, "The mascots." And he was like, "Wow, you have school spirit."
That scene, right, where you want him to tell her. You want him so badly to tell her, and he doesn't. That was fantastic. Like I have no faith in Hollywood these days that they don't just give in and tell, but they don't. They hold off, and that makes it all the more powerful.
Because he has 3 more movies to come up.
It's not. Yeah, it's greed. It's not.
He has 3 more movies, you guys.
So basically, the idea is that you should go see it.
It's so good. Like the pacing, like how you said, it was good. I love the lighting, and like if you do like Spider-Man and like all the Easter eggs and like the actors who put into the work as the characters for Spider-Man. Oh my god, it's so good.
The CGI was above average to above average. There was a couple of scenes cut, a couple of Doc Ock scenes in that first fight on the bridge that felt CGI-y to me.
Kind of. I didn't pay
close-ups,
attention.
the mid-level shots felt a little bit CGI, like it was more noticeable.
Yeah.
But the stuff at the end where the universe is splitting, or like the characters are coming in from the other multiverses, that was fantastic.
I love that.
With Doctor Strange.
Oh wait, you know how he was fixing all the characters, like all the villains? Like he was like, "I'm gonna cure them." Do you think it's still going to be their demise to die?
That's a question I have. I don't know if that means that they're sent back to die. So he did his job. He fulfilled the obligation. He said, "I'm going to cure them. If they die in their world, I guess it's not on him. That's fate." Yeah. But he fulfilled his obligation.
Yeah, because he fixed Doc Ock's broken chip, so he can't hear the machines talking in his head. Yep. He fixed the Green Goblin, so he has no dark side. He fixed Clint, so he's not the Sandman anymore. And then got rid of Electro's electricity and then turned Lizard back to human.
I almost feel bad and the worst for Electro because it felt like...
because he wanted it.
I felt like Jamie Foxx was just like, there's so much passion for those other villains that is awesome and as fantastic of an actor as Jamie Foxx is. He just... there just isn't the same level of connection to those other characters. So.
Yeah, that's true, because a lot of people didn't like Jamie Foxx's performance as Electro the first time.
Yep.
And it was funny. I thought they were going to keep him as the weird Electro, like translucent.
No, they make him,
they made him normal looking.
Yep. And I wonder, like, or they didn't give him the comb over, the bad face. He's handsome Jamie Foxx. So, basically, guys, just go see Spider-Man: No Way Home this weekend. It is absolutely worth your money.
Oh,
Miracle found something else.
Yeah, I just found out like Easter egg. So you know how like Jamie Foxx, like every time he uses the lightning, it makes a star. Mm-hmm. That's actually a homage to his comic book self.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. I was like really curious about it. I was like, why is he a star?
Yeah. We learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.